Alright, so we're out of the Lost Woods on that, because most of this list will now consist of mainly just small picks, with two exceptions. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Next up is Samus, and my little tweaks for her. First off, I would give her the Varia suit based off of Samus Returns. It's a little bulkier than the other M design, so in a way it's a bit off-putting, but at the same time I think it's a pretty neat design. But if there's one suit that needed to be added to Samus, it has to be the fusion suit. And I'm not talking about this color schemed one. I'm talking about an actual fusion suit. I mean, just please. You already met her halfway through with the shoulder pads in this. I mean, it's a very slim design. Give us this fusion suit. They even put it in Return of Samus, so why can't they do that for Smash Brothers? We have Zero Suit Samus, we have the Gravity suit, the Various suit, the other M Slim suit. The only ones we're missing is the Power suit and the Fusion suit. Not that I care whether they have the default Power suit. I mean, that's just boring in my opinion, but I mean, just, you know, give us something, you know. At any rate, after that, I'd probably replace these stupid power bombs. I mean, if anybody can tell me, please tell me, is there any use that anybody's ever found with these other than doing minimal damage and making you open and giving you a little bit of extra air? Because that's the only reason I see to use these, is for aerial momentum. It's not something used as an actual attack. It can't kill, it does very little damage, and it's easily avoidable. So what I would do is give her the arm counter from Return of Samus. It can act as a counter, she can take a stance a little bit like Little Mac, and then what could happen is she can smack people who attack her and cause them to be in a bit of a stunned state, similar to the focus attack that Ryu possesses. Which, I don't even know if I mentioned, he's also a character I don't see coming back. I think, yeah, I don't think I mentioned him, so yeah, I don't think Ryu's coming back. I mean, he might, but I think implementing the counter and having the effect of the attack do the same for the focus attack that Ryu had would be a decent addition to Samus. The last thing I would change is her final smash. I mean, honestly, this is just something that they can do. I don't really want them to change the final smash because I personally love the Zero laser. But what I would do if they wanted to give her something based on a game, because the Zero laser, I believe, is not really based off of anything. It's a Smash original attack, and I love it. But another thing that they can add is the Aeon powers from Return of Samus. These give her like this endless stream of missiles. For the record, I have not played Return of Samus yet, so I'm going based off of knowledge I found through reviews. But this can give her like an endless stream of missiles that can do quite a bit of damage. She can angle them in any way she wants. She can be invincible, and instead of slowing time forever, she can slow down time to where it's easier to hit her targets. Next up, we have Zero Suit Samus, and I really don't have anything for her. I would kind of mix her design based on Samus Returns, because she does have a bit of a different design, like physique, I guess. She looks a bit more muscular in Samus Returns as her Zero Suit variant, but other than that, not much has changed. The only thing I'd probably do is try to blend the jet boots in with her Zero Suit so that they're more like boots and not heels. I mean, I don't have a problem with the heels, I personally don't care. But, I mean, when looking at them, they feel like they kind of clash a bit. I think that's why some people like to use the black Zero Suit color, because it doesn't make it clash as much. Because it's a good complement. Yellow and black always go hand in hand. Then again, black goes with quite a few things. But you know what I mean. Other than that, I don't see much of a change for anything else. I like her final smash. Her regular attacks are superb. I mean, she's one of the best characters in the game. And I hope that she remains her own separate character. I don't play her as much as I should because I really do like her. It's just that she's really damn fast and jumps really high. So it's a little tricky for me to get used to her movements, especially when I'm used to someone that has a little more weight to them. Next up is Pit, and just like Zero Suit, I don't have much in terms of what I would do with Pit, but I would change his final smash, where he has the 3 sacred treasures in this version of Pit. He also gets another super weapon from Kid Icarus Uprising, especially since the Great Sacred Treasures get destroyed halfway through, or about 75% of the way through. Spoilers. It's an old game. It's older than Smash. I mean, there's room for spoilers. I would give him, I think it's just the Great Sacred Treasures, which is this this weird mech robot suit that lets Pit pretty much fly as long as he wants and has a barrage of different attacks. And what I would do is I would implement the same way that the Halbert's implemented in this Omega stage, and where he flies around in the background and starts firing a barrage of different light-based attacks by just holding the button. But if you pause and let like a reticle just move around normally, you can add an instant charge attack that covers a lot more ground and does tons of launch potential or damage. Other than that, I think his moveset's pretty solid as it is. Next up is the Goddess of Light herself, Palutena. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of her moves can be changed, and I feel that she has a lot of special moves that are better than her default, but I wouldn't know which ones to really change, or this is more talking about her normal moves. In terms of her specials, I think her teleport recovery is fine as it is, just don't make it as janky as it is when it comes to curved edges. Give it something like Mewtwo's, because Mewtwo's, I believe, is even better. I feel that a character doesn't need to have not only a reflect but a counter. That just seems a little too defensive. So, one, I would replace her counter with reflect, and number 2, I would change her reflect prompt to that of the explosive flank. It could act a bit like Dense Fire if it needs to be worked around, but I think explosive flank would just give her a bit more coverage. There's probably other special moves that would work better for her, but that's the one that I'm choosing. Because for some other moves, I think they belong to a certain somebody, but I'm going to get into that much later. Next up, we have Marth. And the biggest thing I change about him is his final smash. Now, he can still have the same one because I don't know what else he could possibly have. I barely remember anything of Shadow Dragon. But the main thing that I would change, and if they did this, I would main Marth in a heartbeat. Give him his Tokyo Mirage costume, the one where he goes Super Saiyan Blue and starts singing. Give me that Marth, and I swear I will main him. I will go to EVO 2019, and I will dominate with Marth only, even if he ends up being the worst character imaginable. I will dominate everybody and sing. And I am serious. I will actually pick up Marth if he were to have that Super Saiyan Blue Tokyo Mirage outfit. Other than that, the only other things I give him is maybe the class up look or the groom costume he has in Fire Emblem Warriors. When it comes to Ike, I have nothing to really say other than give him another costume, like the Choose Your Legends outfit from Fire Emblem Heroes, or the Legendary outfit, which I think is the same one that he has on now, just with a bit more flair, I guess. For Kirby now, I would change his Final Smash just so that he can get with the times, just like he did in this game. In this one, it was a Final Smash based on the game Return to Dreamland, which was this giant sword. It was actually really cool, but I think they can do something a little more dangerous with Kirby. Although it wouldn't have the same flair that the giant sword Kirby has, I would give him the Miracle Fruit from Kirby Triple Deluxe, which allowed him to increase the suction ability that he uses. He wouldn't be able to copy anybody, but what he does is he pretty much makes his stomach more of a black void than it already is, and suck up things that are 3 times his size. So what I was thinking is that it could give off a suction that pretty much covers the whole stage. Debris comes in from the side, and if anybody gets sucked into the void, basically, it's an instant kill. Of course, people can always keep running from it, but they have to dodge or block the debris that can potentially knock them in, and all that stuff. I think it would be pretty interesting seeing people try to run away from something that's pulling them in. In terms of the king himself, King Dede, first off, he needs one of 2 different alts, and one can easily be a color, and that's Shadow Dede. But the other one, I think he would get a lot of appreciation for if he bore the mask that is used to possess him. Well, I think only one time it possessed him, maybe twice, but no, it was twice. But Mask Dede as an alt would be great. Either that or just Shadow, but I think Mask would be more accepted. Plus, it's pretty classic. I don't know how classic, but classic enough, I guess. It might have been 3 times, actually. Anyways, for a Final Smash, instead of that weird unknown bomb attack that he has, I was thinking that they could give him the power-up boost that he has in his boss fight in Star Allies, which is that buff transformation. It could act a little bit like Gigamac in that it has long reach, it does incredible amounts of damage. If anything, it just has a little trouble hitting the mark, because his attacks can be slow. They would be changed and he could walk around with his giant forearms, but ultimately he would be slow. But just imagine those attacks in that chest. Those pecs. And next we have Meta Knight, who I really don't have anything to change, and although I have just one specific change that I could just describe in the same way as Ike, I feel there can be a little bit more explanation to it at the very least, and that is give him a proper Dark Meta Knight alt. I would say Galactica Knight, but more on that later. But this design right here, this color scheme, I feel is just unacceptable. Give him a proper Dark Meta Knight alt. One that actually has the scar on the mask, the silver sword, and, well, in my opinion, the better gray wings. I would give him a change to his Final Smash, but again, more on that later. And 2, he would just be Dark Meta Knight if I recommended another potential idea. Other than that, I don't really see anything else that could be changed for him. I mean, he mostly has everything covered. Maybe his grabs so that they don't seem similar to Kirby, but, you know. I don't have much of a problem with Meta Knight as he is. Okay, for Fox and Falco. For both of them in terms of different design, for one, I give them their more classic design, the N64 look. But that can easily also be changed to the Star Fox Zero look, which is essentially the same, with more fur textures. But with Fox, I don't think there really needs to be any changes, but that's why I'm including Falco in this part too, just so I can kill two birds with one fox. Bad pun, I know. Anyways, the one thing I changed with Falco, because I think he's fine as he is for the most part, give him a different Final Smash. He doesn't need a Landmaster. I mean, he can use an R-Wing and use it in the same way that Zero Suit Samus uses her gunship, or it can just be something like Captain Falcon where he uses the Blue Falcon to run people over. It can also just shoot lasers on the stage, fire some smart bombs, attack people with barrel rolls. I mean, it's got potential to do whatever it wants. And if not that, then they can use the Chicken Walker from Star Fox Zero to basically kick and stomp opponents, shoot lasers, bombs, and whatnot. For Falco, anyways. Now for Pikachu and Charizard, starting off with both of them, I think one of their color palettes should actually be the proper shiny attire. I know that Pikachu somewhat has this in the form of the Focus Band costume and the Trainer Red Cap, because he has a different shade that's similar to his shiny form, but I don't know if that's completely true or not. And then Charizard shiny is a black Charizard, so I mean, I think that would work out pretty well. I mean, everybody likes black Charizard. I assume that's why they have Charizard X over Charizard Y, which is something I'll talk about in just a second. First off, with Pikachu's Final Smash, I feel that they have much more to work with now that Z moves are a thing, which are essentially Final Smashes in the Pokemon games. And the one that I would choose for Pikachu would be the 10 million volt Thunderbolt. And I'm dead. It can have Pikachu zip through the stage with a more traditional Volt Tackle and paralyze people that's in the way, and then lead to a cinematic where he activates the Z move and can potentially KO about 7 more enemies. Charizard could have Mega Charizard Y, which would still be having the power of flight and would cause a sun effect so that the stage is brighter, because Charizard Y has the ability of drought. And with that, he could easily have all his moves based off of fire type attacks, which are much more stronger, and he could inherit his partner's old move, Solar Beam, from his Final Smash and use that at will, because you can use Solar Beam in sunlight instantly. Moving on. Next up is Jigglypuff. I have a few things I'd change with her. For one, I know a lot of people want to see her back in the spotlight as a top tier character. Well, I don't really care for tiers, I just like playing the damn game. At any rate, first off, I do agree with one criticism, and that is bring the headband alt back for her. That was her best costume, and she really needs it back. Pikachu doesn't need it. He has Gold's hat. He has his own headband in the form of a focus band. He doesn't need to rip off Pichu's old design anyways, unless that is Pichu evolved. I digress though. And just like the other two I mentioned, she can have a shiny alt, which isn't much of a difference other than her eyes being green, but it would still be nice nonetheless, instead of weird shades. Other than that, I would change her final smash from that stupid inflating blimp to the Fairy Z move, Twinkle Tackle, which can act as a grab in the form of a small whirl of stars that would lead up to a cinematic where she can activate the Z move. The unique thing about this potential Z move and its effect when KOing opponents is that in the Z move, it always sends the opponent flying into space with a star. You know, those little star scenes, like in the anime, Team Rocket always blasts off and then they twinkle. Well, in the anime of old. So I was thinking that if any opponent got KO'd through the Twinkle Tackle, they would automatically get a star KO, no matter how many people it was, because this could be a wide grapple-like attack, a bit like Captain Falcon's Blue Falcon. Next is Greninja. So first off, the easy one, a more traditional shiny form. He does have somewhat of a shiny color alt in the game, but it's not completely traditional. His tongue isn't the red that it should be, and some of the skin that's tan should be black. That's his, he has a full black and red tongue, so that's his regular shiny form. Other than that, his final smash should be obvious in the form of Ash Greninja. All of his attacks that have to do with these water blades that he summons can be changed out for the shuriken blade that he carries on his back. The water shuriken that he shoots out can be instantly charged, does more damage, goes full screen, and I think that covers about everything regarding that. And he would have temporary invincibility up until the transformation runs out. Again, it would just be another version of Mega Evolution like Lucario's, but it's his own because Greninja is that unique. Ness, unchanged. Captain Falcon, unchanged. Alright, so Villager, Olimar, and Shulk. Shulk is going to be the easiest because I wouldn't change anything about him. I haven't played the first Xenoblade Chronicles, so I don't know what they could possibly change, but I think he's fine as is. Villager doesn't really have any changes either, but what I would do is change the way he does his final smash. In this game, it's more of building a house with the Nooklings and Tom Nook, but that seems a little inaccurate. I mean, it's accurate in that he's building a house, but if they're basing this off of New Leaf at the very least, he's building more types of public works projects. So I would do something to reflect that. And with that, I would give him I would just basically give him, like, you know, public works projects that he builds over the enemies rather than a house. It can be random. I mean, there's nothing in particular I would give it. You know, just something to spice up the visuals. I guess I'm stumbling a little bit. And then as for Olimar, just more solo variety for his moves, especially for his aerial attacks, because him having to rely on the Pikmin for air combos and such can be really annoying, especially when the Pikmin don't come to you as fast as you want them, and I've had my fair share of problems like that. The other thing I would change about Olimar and the Pikmin is give him the ability to not be reflected. Maybe for the side special, but not for regular smash attacks. That can be very annoying. And now for Dark Pit. One of the last two layers of fat in this giant explanation of things I would change for certain characters. Okay, so Dark Pit I don't see being cut. I mean, first off, it's one of Sakurai's children. That's something that I don't think he would do likely. And I mean, he already has a viewpoint on clones, so at the very least, if they're going to do anything with Dark Pit, they should give him a brand new moveset, because I'm not against Dark Pit. I'm really not. I just don't like how much of a literal clone he is to Pit. The only difference is their final smashes, which he can keep. It's a fine final smash, but he needs much more to differentiate himself, and I feel that there's plenty to pull from, because he doesn't need this bow, he doesn't need the Guardian Orbitars. I mean, the Electro Arm is nice, it's different, but not that different from what the Upper Dash Arm. It does more horizontal knockback than vertical, so what? That's not enough to change him. So these are the changes I would give him, because like I said, there's a lot to work with. First off would be his neutral B, which normally is the arrows. Wonder if I can deflect this. Nope, I can't. Huh, I just realized that she was using her neutral B that entire time. Oh well, anyways, the first thing I would do is, first off, he's not going to be using the blade bow and arrow anymore. I would give him the claw weapons. Not only would they boost his agility drastically, but give him quite a bit of different combo potential that I feel the arrows can't do for him. Plus, I think they're the most popular weapon in the game. I mean, it would be nice to have a super fast Kid Icarus character that has a lot of combo potential. Of course, that would sacrifice some power, but one step at a time. First off, for his neutral B, it would be a claw weapon projectile. The claw weapons have a fast fire rate, but don't do very much damage. And this can mimic Fox's laser in that it does little damage, but it has an incredibly high fire rate. And I mean, at the very least, these can be in like small bursts that don't have to flinch per se. A little bit like Bayonetta's, I guess. They're in short bursts if you hold the attack button down, or like from doing a regular attack or a smash attack. But this would just be his neutral B, which can also have a decent amount of range. It wouldn't flinch, you get the point. It wouldn't flinch, but it wouldn't be completely useless. It'd be a pretty decent tool for damage. As for what claws he would have, he could have the Beam Claw, which again can mimic Fox in its fire rate. Or he could at least have the Verity Claws just to show his alliance with the forces of nature, or Pandora's Claws because they're a dark themed weapon and he's Dark Pit. And he also has some history with Pandora, seeing as he was able to borrow her power, or use her power, whichever you prefer, to gain the power of flight for himself. I mean, the only other claw I give him is the Brawler Claw, but that's more for memes than anything, because by shooting out the Brawler Claw, he would basically be shooting out a whole bunch of fist attacks. Next up would be the side special, which instead of this weird Electro Arm that has little range, it's got super armor, and it can reflect attacks. I mean, so can his Orbitars, though. Instead of that, give him a palm weapon. I mean, after all, it's not uncommon for these characters to wield more than one weapon in a Smash game. Electro Arm, Silver Bow, the Guardian Orbitars. So it wouldn't be completely out of place. And this palm weapon It can be a variety of different palms, so I'm not really going to go into a big list, or any list. If I had to say, I would probably pick the Cursed Palm or Viridi's Palm. I'd give him a staff weapon, but, you know, his Final Smash pretty much seals the deal on that. So instead what I would do is, for the Palm weapon, it would shoot a charge shot palm attack. A pretty big projectile, not very fast, so it's easily dodgeable, but it does quite a bit of damage. But if you were to do it up close to somebody, Dark Pit could easily use that as a bit of a command grab and launch the foe with a point blank shot, in which case this would actually be very similar to Lucario's Force Palm, one of his only great moves in my opinion. As for his recovery, I would give him the Power of Flight Jump Glide, which basically means like it would be a boost just like his regular Power of Flight, but ending in the form of a glide similar to Palutena's Jump Glide. If not, just give him a Jump Glide, just to differentiate himself from Pit in his recovery. It would be a slow descent, but he'd be able to move freely, unlike Pit. Pit would just have the benefit of being able to recover through pretty much incredible lengths, because he has one of the best recoveries in the game. As for the down B, I would give him the lightweight ability. That's one of Palutena's custom specials, which he would gain even more speed than he already has as a claw user, but sacrificing defense, obviously. Other than that, it's more or less the same. He would gain more speed because of wielding a claw weapon. He would have more combo potential because just the basic claw combo, melee-wise, is like a 5-hit attack. And of course, because it's a fast-attacking weapon, it doesn't do as much damage. But when has that ever been a problem for fast attackers like Sheik in Zero Suit? The last layer of Fat Lucena that I have to talk about in great detail, or, you know, in terms of ideas. Anyways, first off, for alternate different outfits or whatever, she could easily have her Great Lord outfit, which is her promoted class design. She can have her Choose Your Legends outfit that she won, or that she obtained through the voting thing. I think it's just a voting gauntlet. I don't remember, but it's from Fire Emblem Heroes. It's basically the same take on her regular outfit, but with more armor and even a butterfly shield, which is pretty cute. Of course, she's wielding a lance in that artwork, but still, like, the initial concept of the armor is what I mean. And the only other alt I would give her is her short-haired alternate version. Of course, that would mean that she would be wearing the mask, but I think they can always improvise. I mean, after all, she can wear her... Rob, I swear, this is why you're not in here. Well, one of the reasons. Not really. But she can wear her mask right here, but she still has her long hair, so I don't see why they can't at least give her a short-haired variant. Very nitpicky alternate costumes, but I feel that adding a different look is always a nice start to change. Next up is some of her specials. First off is her neutral special. Because the power in her blade is all around, just not focused at the tip, I feel that her having Marth's old melee shield breaker attack would benefit her more than the stab. I mean, the stab is still nice, don't get me wrong, but like I said, I think she can benefit from that, and it'd be more of a reason not to include Roy again. That's not really my reason, but still, like, just to bring that back anyways, because for some reason some people like the slash more than the stab on Marth, and for Marth I think the stab works a hell of a lot better, and for Lucena, again, because the power goes throughout the blade, it would just make more sense, at least in my opinion. It can still have the ability to shield break, don't get me wrong, it's just, you know, in terms of a logical standpoint, I feel that that would be better. Now, if anybody has something to counteract that logic, I mean, feel free to let me know, because there might be something I don't know. I never played Marth all that much in Melee anyway, so enlighten me, please. Next up would be her up B, which I would pretty much keep as the Dolphin Slash, but give it a bit of a different twist. Like if she were to spin while she was doing it. I believe that there's a mod out there that's changed her moveset to mimic one of these things, the up air in specifically, but I don't recall. But just some sort of new take, just to differentiate her more. Make her more of a pseudo clone, similar to how Luigi is to Mario, where he slowly developed his own moveset, and I'd like to see that for Lucena. Same thing in the form of just her regular attacks. Like, her aerial can be a somersault that's akin to her critical hit. Or, I think it's more of Crom's critical hit. Either way, I mean, she is her daughter. Or, she is his daughter. Yeah. I should probably hit the sack after this video. Because I am probably tired. At any rate, there's plenty of different sword strikes and moves that she can utilize that are different. So I don't see why she has to be a clone of Marth other than taking his name and being a very, very distant relative. To wrap up Lucena though, for a side B, instead of the dancing blade that she has inherited from Marth, I was thinking of giving her a javelin throw. Now she's able to throw javelins in Project Cross Zone when she's teamed up with Chrom, so I think that would be interesting to implement as a projectile for her. It wouldn't have a very fast fire rate, but it would be a decent projectile nonetheless. More or less acting the same as Cloud's projectile or even Mario's fireball. I can't remember the name of Cloud's sword beam thing. And again, it would just be something to make her her own character. As for a final smash, I was thinking of transforming her sword to the Exalted Falchion, whatever it's called, which in Awakening would make the sword glow orange and have a blue light on the hull, which I think would form an eyeball, like Naga's eye. So she could have that and have like these devastatingly strong sword attacks, followed with invincibility, because Falchion does automatic healing. And if not that, then what she can do is steal Robin's final smash and have Chrom team up with her to basically do what Cloud just did to me. Or put a different flair on it. After all, it's not one magic user and one sword user like in Robin's. Not to mention, again, calling back to Project Cross Zone, they can end it off with the cross slash that they do to end off their super attack, which is also part of the box art. Now for Sonic the Hedgehog, we're almost done here. Okay, so Sonic does not need 2 different spin dashes. Personally, I think his forward special spin dash is much better than his down B, but I do like having to charge it. So that being said, first off, I would make it so that you can charge his spin dash, but I give it the better utility that his side B has. So just basically combining the two. I don't really know if his down B has more utility. I just know that I like his side B better. Now, because you would be putting both of the spin dashes into one attack, I was thinking for a side special, he could use the boost mechanic that he's had since, I think it was Sonic Colors? Where he could basically just plow through a bunch of opponents. The thing I would make sure that he does have to keep him from launching off screen would be like this automatic failsafe where if he boosts off screen, it automatically cancels out. And this boost could also be used as a form of recovery, boosting him like into the air. It doesn't have to be at a full screen distance, but just something, you know. Well, on the off chance Mega Man comes back, and I don't see why he wouldn't, he's becoming more relevant now, thanks to the Mega Man X Legacy Collection and Mega Man 11 being announced. I'm so happy for the little guy, honestly. I hope that they are good, and I hope that they don't cancel these games. At any rate, I digress. With Mega Man, I have a few things I would change. First off, I would get rid of the Metal Blade for the charge shot that he normally has. The difference being is that you would be able to hold the charge shot. I know a lot of people like the Metal Blade, and I'm with them on that. I mean, I like the Metal Blade too. Initially, I didn't, but I mean, you know. In terms of a final smash, there's a reason I would change it from that, and it would only be because I want one of those other Mega Mans to be in Smash Brothers. More on that in the next video. But I would change it to the Rush Adapter so that not only could he have the ability to fly, but shoot homing rocket punches at whoever he was up against. The only other things I would change is because he would lose his forward smash because of the neutral B being the charge shot, although I don't see that happening. I would either give him a mid-charge, which is not as strong as his special, but not as weak as his regular lemons, or something that's a little better and not as lazy would be giving him the hard knuckle, but as a smash attack. And before you call that lazy, well, look at the Mii fighters. Their forward smash is this weird barrage of pellets, but their up special is that same barrage of pellets. So I don't see why Mega Man can't have a hard knuckle meteor and then a hard knuckle forward smash. Then again, he also has a wide variety of different attacks from different Robot Masters from his games, and they can even include some from the upcoming Mega Man 11. But I've only played a few classic games. I haven't played all of them. I've only played 1, 2, 8, 9, and 10. So I can't say what other moves can replace what, and that's why I haven't said anything on that regard. Otherwise, I would make an entirely different moveset for him. Maybe. Next, we have Mewtwo and Lucas. For Lucas, real quick, because I only have one thing I would change, is give him his original PK Starstorm Final Smash, the one that has a barrage of different stars falling from the sky, and not the one that just stays in the center that can be changed. Ness can have that one, but Lucas can at least have a different one, his old, better one in my opinion. As for Mewtwo, though, I would change his Shadow Ball to the Hyper Beam attack, a move that he gained in the Pokken tournament game as an unlockable character there. It can have some startup to it, so it's easy to anticipate, a little bit like a Falcon Punch that goes full screen, or at least a decent amount of the stage. And that can leave Mewtwo wide open if it misses, because he has to recharge just like any Hyper Beam user. You always have to recharge when using the attack, so I think that would be a decent cost. The power of a Falcon Punch or Warlock Punch with much better range at the cost of being left wide open. And for a character like Mewtwo, he can't afford to be left wide open. For a down B, I'd give him the ability Calm Mind instead of Confuse Ray or Confusion or whatever it is. I think this is Confusion. But I give him Calm Mind. It can act the same way that Wii Fit Trainer's deep breathing worked, in that you have to time the ring correctly. And if you do, he gains an attack and defense boost, which would not only help his crazy offense, but could help him from getting launched as easily, considering he's one of the biggest and lightest characters in the game. Just something to give him a little bit of an edge. As for a down smash, instead of that weird finger bomb that he does normally, give him something that covers both spaces so that he has better coverage when it comes to people who like to roll. And for a final smash, he can replace Mewtwo Y with Mewtwo X and have the same super move that he uses in Pokken, that weird punch that does a whole bunch of hits. If not that, then have the Shadow Mewtwo and that giant Shadow Ball explosion that he does from the space. It can be a cinematic, I'm not sure. Also, although I'm not entirely on board with it, a Shadow Mewtwo alt would also be pretty nice. As well as, you know, just a shiny color, a proper one. And last but not least, we have Corrin, Bayonetta, and the Mii Fighter. I don't really feel like bringing the Mii Fighter out though, so I'm just going to say more customizable outfits instead of just a shirt, body outfit, and a helmet. And more original custom moves that aren't weaker versions of other people's attacks. As for these two, possibly a Bayonetta 3 alt, just to advertise Bayonetta 3, as it's coming to Nintendo Switch. And I really don't know, maybe weaker attacks or something, because I don't have as much problem with Bayonetta as most people do, because most people like to use her as a Mario type counter pick. If not weaker attacks, then just an easier chance to escape from combos, I guess. Other than that, with Corrin, I would give Corrin like the class up alternates, like Hoshiden Prince, Norian Prince / Princess, Hoshiden, Norian Princess, whatever. And an ability to cancel the Dragon Lunge without having to jump or go forward or backward. Because in the trailer that showcased Corrin's moveset, it said that you could cancel the Dragon Lunge when canceling meant you had to wait for Corrin to get tired, basically. But if you were to press down and cancel, I think that would be much better. Not only for getting out of situations that are easily readable, but also so that you can follow up with a down tilt combo. But that concludes all the characters from Smash 4 in terms of who I think are returning and can use some tweaks here and there. But that doesn't mean that I'm done yet. I still have, I believe, 3 more characters. 4 characters actually, but 3 that I'm really going to be talking about. And then one last thing I want to cover. So last few characters I want to talk about are characters that are not in Smash 4, but in previous games that I feel can return or I want to return. First off is the Ice Climbers. Not only do I actually kind of want them to return, but I feel they have the best chance at returning, considering that there was limitations for Sakurai to implement them in the 3DS version, without there being two versions of Smash 5 or Smash Switch, I feel the Ice Climbers are a shoo-in to come back, as that's pretty much everyone else's idea on how they'll be returning anyways. But I think we can expect them back. I would give them a few small move adjustments, like a forward air or a downward air that would lead into a meteor, because I feel that they could use it. I don't recall if they had such a thing in Brawl, but just for safety measures, if they don't have it, I think they should have one now. The only other thing would be a new down B attack, because the ice blizzard thing that comes out of their palms is a nice attack, but nothing that I find is really useful. So I don't know what I would replace it with, but you know, anything. I'll let Sakurai come up with an idea, because I got none, especially when it comes to working off of their games. Not much I can do there, considering they only have one that I know of. I think it is just one. Next up is Snake from Metal Gear Solid. I just want him in. He can be the same for all I care. I just want Snake back, because I never really used him all that much, and he was a really fun character to use. My third returning veteran from another game, Wolf from the Star Fox series. I give him a 64 alt or a Star Fox Zero alt, just so he can have a more modern look, so to speak, and a bit more of a unique moveset rather than the pseudo Fox or Falco. Again, I mean, he already kind of has that, but I mean in terms of his special moves, they're just pseudo Fox and Falco. It's not really all that unique. Reflector, a blaster, and a wolf flash that just has a different angle. For a final smash though, what they can try is a minigun while Wolf hangs off of the wing, off of his Wolfen ship. This would be a callback to Star Fox Assault, where there are certain bosses that you fought as Fox, but he had this turret minigun that shot unlimited bullets at a very fast rate, and you were flying off of either the R-Wing or a Wolfen wing, and fighting bosses like Aperoid General Pepper. So I think what they can do is implement it the same way that they have with Snake's old Final Smash, and and have Wolf in the foreground just unleashing a barrage of bullets. And then the last veteran I want to see, well, not really that I want to see, but I can see returning, is Young Link. And this one is probably the least likely, but there is a small chance. And if they do it, he needs to be completely redone. I would give him a Majora's Mask / Hyrule Warriors based moveset, and for a final smash, I give him a Fierce Deity transformation. I'm not saying to give him a Majora's Mask based moveset like Boomerang would be Zora Link and Recovery would be Deku Link, because I feel the transformations would be a little too tough to like keep utilizing as a moveset. And changing halfway like Corrin does, I don't think is a solution either. That's why I said a combination of Majora's Mask and Hyrule Warriors, considering how much he relied on Fierce Deity there. But that's pretty much it in regards to all the veterans that I can see returning and what I would change about them. If you have any ideas on who you want returning or who you want cut or who you think should be tweaked for whatever reason, go ahead and leave a comment below. Or, talk to me on Twitter. Tell me what you think. However, there is a chance that there are characters or there will be no cuts in this game whatsoever. I've mentioned before that that there is a chance that there won't be cut characters, and there's one reason in particular as to why. That reason is Amiibos. They made Amiibos of every single character in Smash Bros. 4. And basically, if they were to rework the entire roster, like not have half of the characters that have made it into this game, it would make the Amiibos almost completely worthless for some characters, especially some that I've already mentioned. However, I do know a bit of a workaround around this, but like I said, I don't see... There is a chance that this can either be to where all the characters return, or at the very least this makes it more likely to be a port. But if they wanted to make some use of the Amiibos, what they could do is for characters that don't return, or just for characters that do return, the Amiibos can work just like an unlockable costume thing. Kind of like how they did it in Mario Kart 8, where depending on what Amiibos you have, you can actually unlock certain costumes for your Mii driver. And in this case, for Smash Brothers, if they were to do something similar, what they could do is give theme-based costumes to certain characters, such as like a yellow color for Mega Man if Pac-Man didn't make it back, symbolizing that Mega Man defeated a Pac-Man boss and got his power, For Ganondorf, for people who want Twilight Princess Ganondorf but want the Hyrule Warriors or the new fighting style, they could tap on the old Ganondorf amiibo and get like an alternate costume of Ganondorf as Twilight Ganondorf. And for characters who don't make it and have no relation with other characters, like let's say Little Mac, there can be an alternate costume that unlocks for someone like Mario, where he can get the referee outfit, or Captain Falcon can get a color scheme of green gloves, a black shirt, and pants. I don't know, but something to match Little Mac's color scheme. That's how I would implement the Amiibos should they have little relevance in the next game. But because of Amiibos, I think that there's a chance that all the characters will make it back, or at the very least, it strengthens the idea that this is a port. That being said, though, I'm sticking to my guns and that this will be a new game. They can easily introduce new Smash Bros. Amiibos for the newcomers, and I feel that the Amiibos should have a secondary purpose in the form of unlockables, but also give the option to get those unlockables via like an in-game purchase. Not like a microtransaction, but like you obtain coins, and I mentioned before that they can add a shop system in this game. So just give the character, or not the character, give the ability to buy it from the in-game shop with in-game currency is all I'm saying. But with that concludes my thoughts and ideas on the veterans. I did not expect it to get this long. Holy crap. I'm probably gonna have to split this up into 3 parts. At any rate, I hope that some people have actually looked at it and thought about a couple of things here and there. I hope some people actually like it too. If you liked it and want to be a part of the discussion, have your own ideas, disagree with me or whatever, go ahead and leave a comment below. Leave a comment on my Twitter too if you'd like to discuss more there as well, whichever suits your fancy. And next time, I'm going to be ending these Smash Brothers discussions with my thoughts on newcomers, who I think will be added, and who I want to be added. And I'm going to draw the line very clear for that. What do I mean exactly? Find out next time.